The world-famous Weather for Weather Geeks video. This is our in-depth weather coverage for Northeast Ohio and Western PA. Good Thursday evening, everyone. It's 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm. We've been doing these Weather Geek videos for about 5 years, or even longer than that now. And, you know, a lot of weather geeks out there. I was pleasantly surprised when I moved to this area. I was not expecting this video to have many viewers, but there's a lot of people who really are into the weather, really like the weather, really like having an in-depth discussion about the weather here locally, more than they can get on an app or even watching on TV. So that's what this video is for, and we oftentimes start out before we get to today's weather, the future weather happenings. We oftentimes like to do a little review. And this evening I thought I'd talk about precipitation so far in August. Last night I showed you the temperature trends through the first half of August, and through the first 16 days of the month, it's gotten dry again in some places. Now this is at the airport in Vienna, where there's only been 11/100ths of an inch worth of rain so far through the first 16 days of the month, about 1.5 inches below average. Now that, of course, is at the airport. Your mileage really can vary at this time of the year, and we saw a prime example of that last Friday when some places got hardly anything. And then the Boardman, Poland area got 3 to 4 inches worth of rain. So when we look at the last 14 days, or roughly August so far, yeah, the driest areas are roughly from I-80 on north. It's gotten pretty dry again, Trumbull and Mercer counties. Of course, this is our wet spot thanks to mostly late last week's rain. Columbiana, closer to average, with a little bit of a dry zone in the central part of the county, which was also one of our dry spots during the month of July. Now it's Thursday, so we got an update from the drought monitor from the National Weather Service today. Still officially in a abnormally dry zone from southeastern Cuyahoga County down through the Akron area, North Canton, Alliance, just grazing southwestern Mahoning technically. But again, this is just technicalities. You know, you could probably draw a yellow area up here too, given what has happened so far in the month of August. No legit drought conditions here locally. You have to head up to northwest Ohio into Michigan to find official drought conditions. Today's rain was kind of an underachiever. Really, we've seen the rain have a hard time getting going today. Some showers, some sprinkles, yes, but nothing really to write home about, and hardly any thunder. We had some pretty beefy thunderstorms earlier on this afternoon in the Pittsburgh area, but these are cruising into central PA this evening, far, far away from us, and not expecting a lot to happen tonight. Maybe a shower that passes through from time to time. There's a real low chance of a rumble of thunder, but I don't think there'll be much out there. And another cloudy start to your day coming up for Friday morning. Here's a look at the end of the work week. Big picture, all the stats. 80, our forecast for tomorrow would match today's high. The average is 80, the record 97. And of course, we're losing daylight at this time of the year, and our rain chances tomorrow will be highest in the afternoon. I suspect tomorrow afternoon's a little more active than today. I don't think it's a crazy active day tomorrow, but I think the afternoon will be a little more active than today turned out to be. So we could have a couple of clusters of showers and storms that last well into the evening ahead of this cold front. This front is a weak one, and it's a slow mover. It's real sluggish. So that thing will still be in our hair on Saturday. The Storm Prediction Center has a low-end risk in the dark green here south and east of Youngstown of a few rowdier storms, but yeah, it's a pretty low risk of severe weather. Thunderstorms possible. Severe weather risk overall, not something I'm real excited about. I mentioned that front kind of lingering into Saturday. Looks a little slower than previous runs, so what we've had to do is allow for a passing shower, maybe even a storm, through about mid-afternoon on Saturday. So the morning through maybe 2-3 p.m., maybe 4 p.m. in our southern viewing area, you have to be on guard for a passing shower or a storm. I think we'll get it out of the way in time for the evening. It should be a nice evening. I think you'll notice the air starting to dry out. The sky will clear. 7, 8 o'clock Saturday evening, right before sunset, should be very pleasant outside, and that'll set the stage for a nice-looking Sunday as well. So here's a look at the weekend forecast. I have 78 in the forecast Saturday, 82 on Sunday, and Sunday is just going to be a very pleasant summer day for our region. I want to talk briefly about kind of the medium range here. I do think that we have another cold front coming our way around Tuesday of next week, and this is a stronger one. This will probably lead to a pretty stormy day on Tuesday. Could be some severe weather as a possibility on Tuesday if things line up just right. But as we go through the second half of next week, the heat is going to center itself in the Intermountain West. And typically when that happens, the air is not that hot east of there into the Great Lakes and Northeast. And I think we'll spend a few days in the 70s second half of next week. But then late August is looking toasty. I showed you the longer range guidance from the European model last evening, and just in time for the run up to Labor Day and the Canfield Fair, yeah, it looks pretty warm this year. So it looks like, once again, in the WFMJ tent at the Canfield Fair, when I hope to meet a lot of you, we will be pretty hot. We had a cool day last year. I remember shivering one day last year at the fair. I think it was Saturday of the fair. It was cold. This year doesn't seem all that likely that we'll see a day like that. All right, here's the 8 to 14 day outlook showing the beginnings of that abnormally warm pattern for late August, setting up across the Great Lakes and the Northeast. So high confidence that we're going to see some pretty toasty weather to wrap up the month. I tweeted this and posted it on Facebook earlier. The National Weather Service, NOAA, put out their September outlook today. They'll adjust this closer to the end of the month, and we'll also do an official forecast for September, but this is kind of the initial outlook. Right now, equal chances of a warmer than average month, a cooler than average month. That would be a change compared to meteorological summer, which of course has been pretty toasty. If we have an average September, it may feel kind of cool considering how warm it's been over the last couple of months. As far as the autumn outlook, they also did an update on their September, October, November outlook covering meteorological fall. You don't see any blue on this map at all. A pretty strong signal for the fall season that there's going to be a lot of warmth compared to the average across the lower 48 states. Now, of course, this does not mean it's never going to turn cool this autumn. We're going to have some crisp autumnal days. We're going to have some cold days. You know, we see that every fall. But when you take it as a whole, September, October, November right now is looking pretty warm. Not only here locally, but across a good chunk of the country as well. We'll have an update on that forecast, of course, as we get a little bit closer to the start of meteorological fall, which is only a little more than 2 weeks away. Hard to believe. All right, that's it for tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on a potentially stormy Friday afternoon on air and online, including the Storm Tracker 21 app. And I will have a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks Friday evening, same time, same place.